What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So I relatively recently learned something very interesting about some cards that everybody knows the existence of, which would be the runic cards, but there is something that for some reason I never really thought of, and now I actually just feel like an idiot for not thinking about that and not being completely ahead of the curve because it's absolutely 10 billion IQ. Now, obviously everybody knows that splashing a runic engine in your deck could seriously help your deck's consistency, obviously resourcefulness, because they're filled with options. I mean, you've got like a Searcher, you've got a Freezing Curses, which is a Forbidden Chalice, Flashing Fire, which is pretty much Offerings to the Doomed, and you've got Runic Destruction, which is basically MST, and on top of that, you're always banishing cards from your opponent's deck, and unless you're playing against like Flunderies or Thunder Dragon, this usually hurts your opponent. Usually the goal is to pair these cards up with Runic Fountain so that you can draw a bunch of cards. Nothing forces you to necessarily play Runic Fountain, and that's the reason why I'm making today's video. It's because I used to believe for the longest time that the Runic cards were only good in tandem with Fountain, and that you couldn't really do anything other than, you know, draw a bunch of cards and, you know, summon a Hugin and play that way. But obviously I was completely wrong. The runic cards are much better than that and much more splashable than I ever imagined. So today, of course, I will be leaking the goo, but before we go any further, I would really appreciate you guys if you could smash the like and subscribe button for me real quick. It takes like 3 seconds of your time and it makes me the happiest human on earth. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You are the GOAT, and now let's proceed. Alright, so first things first, I learned this thanks to my friend Josh. If you're watching this, shoutouts to you. Basically, he told me that there was a Labyrinth player that incorporated a very small engine of some runic cards, like not even with Fountain. Maybe I think it was only like Flashing Fire, in order to give himself a few more options in the deck. So obviously, Flashing Fire, you can destroy a special summon monster upon controls. So at worst, it's a card that allows you to, you know, pop a monster upon controls. That isn't a trap card, so I guess it might be a little faster. You can use it on your own turn and then get rid of some annoying threats that might be annoying for you. But obviously, the runic cards are also instant fusions, and you can summon a bunch of monsters. You can summon the Hugin, which is a level 2, or the Munin, which is a level 3 and also gains you 1,000 life points on the end phase. Very annoying inconvenience for time. And then the level 4 is Gary, which is also a Dark and a Beast. The level 5 is Freki, which is also a Dark and a Beast, just like the Gary. And finally, we've got Sleipnir, which is a level 9 light monster, which is extremely relevant for another kind of deck. Now, in the Labyrinth deck, for example, you can not only use Flashing Fire defensively to hurt your opponent, but also offensively so that you can summon the Gary, and then overlay with the Ariana in order to make the Gallant Granite, and then either search for a copy of Nibiru. Even nastier than that, you can search for Lord of the Heavenly Prison. That is quite filthy because with your Ariana, you can search your Welcome or your Big Welcome Labyrinth, and then you reveal the Lord, and then on your opponent's turn, you use your Welcome or Big Welcome. You summon either the Ariana to search the Kukulok, or you summon the Kukulok and then bounce it back. Depends on which of the Labyrinth spell trap cards you have. And then your Lord of the Heavenly Prison will trigger. Get yourself the Virus, and then you can use it right away thanks to the Kukulok, because you control an Ariana at this point. If you summon the Ariana, so obviously with a Welcome, it's a little better, drastically better. Obviously, otherwise it doesn't work. And you would be able to Virus your opponent for a bunch of cards, or you could go for D-Bear or whatever. So 2-card combo gets you to all of that, which is pretty nasty, because again, Flashing Fire has like no drawbacks. You can draw all of them, and it's still decent. You can use one offensively, use another one defensively. It's pretty nasty, but obviously some other decks can play these cards as well. I can't believe you can do that, but you can summon like all the rank 4 monsters that generate like a monster. So obviously Gallant Granite searches you Lord or Nibiru. King of the Feral Imps could search like Danger Tsuchinoko, which is only really relevant in like the Phantom Knight deck, I think, and Danger Dark World, so not super good. Battling Boxer King Dempsey is actually one of the better ones. You can search your deck for a level 4 or lower fire monster, and it's a generic rank 4 monster. So you can search either for the Vanquished Soul Ryzen, so obviously really good for Vanquished Soul, in case you only have like Mad Love and a runic spell, or you could go for the Infernoble cards, which obviously is extremely good. But your battle phase might matter, obviously, in those decks, because they're a little more aggressive, whereas in Labyrinth, it's kind of like runic control. You win the game over time by out-resourcing your opponent, so it's fine if you're skipping out on a battle phase. It's not even like you're gonna OTK anyways. I mean, sometimes you might be able to, but even if you don't OTK, you're always gonna exponentially develop your resources, so it's fine. You really have to be like ahead and play very fast, so that's the reason why they actually fix an issue for your deck. And another rank 4 that you can summon generically to search some monsters to get your stuff going would be Infernal Flame Banshee. It searches any power monster from your deck to your hand, so obviously it could be very good in Volcanic, it could be good in Centurion, because you can search the Trudea, or you could maybe play it with Nemesis Flag, so you can search for Nemesis Shadows. Maybe a little less good, but still somewhat relevant. If you are skipping your battle phase, it might be less good than Galen Granite into the monsters for the Labyrinth deck. One of my favorite options would be Raider's Knight. So I can't believe I never thought about that. But in Raid Raptor, you can actually combine some runic cards with your Raid Raptor engine in order to always turn like 2 monsters into full combo, which is a +9, literally, and like triple towers, double interruption that are absolutely unbreakable. And you don't have to play Runic Fountain, and it's like a minimalistic commitment in your extra deck. It's only like 1 or 2 Garys if you want to. I can definitely make a deck profile for you guys, but I would need 1,000 likes on this video if you want it to happen, so you already know what to do. But yeah, I simply cannot believe that these Runic spell cards open so many options just because of their flexibility. Again, a card that's either an instant fusion or like a staple that you probably wanted to play in your deck anyways is destined for greatness. And again, in a few decks, your battle phase usually doesn't even matter that much. Like, for example, in Raid Raptor, the battle phase is completely irrelevant because you can OTK your opponent without ever going to battle phase thanks to the Rising Rebellion that can burn your opponent for a bunch of damage. And so obviously being able to like completely generate advantage and make it so that you can break boards very early on without having to like neg like crazy is just incredibly just convenient. Now, obviously, there are some other things that I wanted to talk about in this video. One of them was the popularity of Fire King and the tags that people are trying to incorporate. Because of the fact that your runics can destroy any fire beast or wing beast, you can not limit yourself only to Fire King, but also some other cards. Like, if you want to, you can destroy Trabergate Kit and then send the Nerval, and then search the Karas and then play from there. It's not necessarily like better than regular Fire King, but it is different. And if people have no idea what you're trying to do, then you can definitely catch them off guard. I actually think it is worth exploring. And another card that you can destroy, that's only going second though, it would be Fencing Fire Ferret. You can destroy it on your opponent's turn with the Garunix when you revive it back, if you're like out of Kieran or something. But basically, if this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, you can target one face of monster opponent controls, destroy it, and then inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So it goes without saying, but this is a dual utility because you can not only destroy an opponent's monster but also burn your opponent. So if you needed something for time, I guess this is it. Not that it's a good thing for the game, but yeah, Fencing Fire Ferret could be your solution for that. The runic cards, I mean, I really thought about them because they were gaining a lot in popularity because obviously Joshua Schmidt, you know, used the engine in order to win at YCS Bologna. His deck used the Guiding Quem with Blazing Cartesia and the Bestial Aluber, there we go, it's a weird card, with the ability to like fusion summon on the opponent's turn with a Blazing Cartesia, or use the monsters as synchro materials, which is pretty cool. But obviously you're not just limited to that, and you can go out of the box and also, you know, try to see if the runic cards can work in some other decks. Like, for example, I recently realized that the runic spells could summon the Sleipnir in the Silent Enforcer deck, and then you could go like Silent Enforcing Prayer, get rid of your Sleipnir, and then Ritual Summon, because it's a very high level monster. So even if you don't have like Novox or Divine of the Heralds or like Trios Hierarcha, you can still get rid of like any runic spell into Sleipnir, and then summon your Skull Guardian, and then search your Novox, and then play from there. So pre-prep with any runic spell is combo, which is absolutely magnificent. But yeah, again, I can't wait to come up with even more plays that you can do with the runic cards. Not even engine, again, this is even if Fountain gets banned and Tip gets banned, some of these cards are still very good, and that's the reason why I made this video. But yeah, that's all I had for this one. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.